willing to bet $5,000 that DEI hire Pablo Torre's story is inaccurate. What are you talking about? How has Bill Belichick acted in any way other than professional? If the contract thing, if it was put in there so he can get the hell out because he doesn't like college football, then fine. He's given an opening. You know, guys like Pablo Torre are waiting for an opening. They're waiting for a crack that they could get in there and make it a schism. Then let's hear what has he done. Is he not hiring good coaches? Is he not actively recruiting? Is he not trying to fundraise? Is he being a jackass to his boss? I bet $5,000 rarely. Like, I'm not even sure I've ever bet $5,000. I've won $5,000. I've lost $5,000 in an entire day. But I am almost damn near kind of sort of willing to bet, $5,000 that DEI hire Pablo Torre's story is inaccurate. Not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it ain't going to happen. Torre, who is among the worst to ever don the streets of ESPN or the walkways or the offices or whatever, he was hired for one reason. He was hired as a DEI hire, given many jobs, and next thing you know, he is gone and he is over somewhere, don't know. But he's made news now by being wrong. He was the initial source of, Jordan Hudson, the gal pal, as the kids say in People magazine, Bill Belichick. He said, Torre did, Belichick's girlfriend was, quote, banned from the facility. Of course, North Carolina said, that's garbage. What are you talking about? You're not banned from anything. She's not banned. She's not banned from nothing. Now, Torre refuses to double down. He's not letting this story regarding Hudson and Belichick die. He is going as far as to claim that he believes there is a high probability, that the legendary Coach Belichick doesn't make it to week one as head coach of North Carolina due to the dysfunction and bad PR with regards to his questionable romantic escapades. Here's Pablo Torre.
What happens next for Coach Belichick? Do you think that he makes it to week one? Is it getting that contentious over there?
I think there's a chance, an absolutely real chance, that he doesn't. And the reason I say that is because even before the Jordan Hudson thing became as public, even before it went from messy backstage to now obviously messy everywhere, the date that matters the most is June 1st. So when this contract was reported, Dominique, when the terms of Belichick's Carolina contract that made him the highest paid public employee in the state were announced, everybody who follows contractual language pointed out that on June 1st, the buyout of Bill Belichick goes from $10 million to $1 million if Bill wanted the escape hatch, right? So if he wanted out, suddenly it was very interesting that the amount got 10 times less after June 1st. And so the question everybody is asking is, are things so dysfunctional behind the scenes when it comes to the power struggle, when it comes to what they are telling Bill to do? Don't have Jordan around anymore. Stop behaving in the way that you have. Basically telling him for the first time, really, right, that you're an employee and not the boss of this building in the way that he may have been assuming he would be. Then there is the ability for him to get out of it. And that's before you even consider the fact that stuff is so crazy when it comes to how his family feels, how the people around the school feel, that there is this larger, hey, so Coach met this woman when she was 19 years old on an airplane, and now she's kind of running his public image as his girlfriend. Is this something that's sustainable? Right? Is that fireable? What does he have to do to get fired? These are all active questions.
What are you talking about? How has Bill Belichick acted in any way other than professional? I mean, I really, if you really break it down, Bill Belichick went and did an interview. It didn't go well. Interviews don't go well. Bill Belichick doesn't say a whole lot. Bill Belichick simply is running his football team. Yeah, it's a public PR nightmare, but it's pretty much over. Why do we care? I mean, look, if the contract thing, if it was put in there so he can get the hell out because he doesn't like college football, then fine. Okay. But it's not because of these horrific, quote, horrific incidents. Mike Krzyzewski swore like a damn sailor, berated. Mike Krzyzewski had all kind of crap. I'm not even going to go into Bob Knight. I mean, what has Bill Belichick really and truly done other than date a young girl? And most importantly, he's given an opening. You know, guys like Pablo Torre are waiting for an opening. They're waiting for a crack that they could get in there and make it a schism and widen it and widen it. Just one crack, any crack, that crack, no pun intended, is Jordan Hudson. And that interview that he did with CBS this morning, that's all that is. What's he really done? Like, if you're mad that Bill Belichick is running your football building or the way he's running your football building, then let's hear what has he done. Is he not hiring good coaches? Is he not actively recruiting? Is he not trying to fundraise? Is he being a jackass to his boss, whoever that is, whether it's the AD, the vice chancellor, the chancellor, whomever in the North Carolina system? Is he abusive to players and staff? What exactly is Bill Belichick doing that is making him other than Bill Belichick? He's dating a young girl. Okay, so what? Guys date young girls all the time. If he met her when he was 19, it'd be interesting to know the real. See, I've been on the other side of many of these type attacks by this same kind of person. And they're always the same person, whether it's Greg Doyle, Dana Bemba Hunzinger, this guy, Lebatard. They're always the insecure. I don't like people that are successful because I'm stuck in my own life. I never got to play. People look down on me, so I have to be tough. All that happy horse bleat. No, this is absolutely nothing. Zero. Now, if it comes out that all of the things that I just said, disrespectful to players, that's the easy one. We just saw a guy here at University of Indiana at Indianapolis, which is a Division I school, get fired because of that. Okay, be disrespectful to staff, be disrespectful to athletic director. You know what I'm saying? Treat women poorly. Then, okay. Or if he just got this gig because he was a little low on cash, kept it till January 1st, all right. But don't even try to tell me that what he did on CBS this morning or the rumors that people are perpetuating because of jealousy, don't even begin to tell me that's fireable in the world of college football. We see it all the time, for crying out loud. Just stop. In addition to revealing that Hudson had previously attempted to insert herself into another one of the 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach's commercials and maybe even be eyeing a potential reality show, maybe. Torre also broke the story that she has been banned from the North Carolina football facility in the aftermath of the CBS debacle. While North Carolina denied the story, Torre stands by his reporting. Belichick's future in Chapel Hill has clearly become a topic of conversation. Yeah, maybe, but all right. But don't act like Belichick is doing something nefarious here. He's not doing squat. He's stooping a young girl who doesn't know how to handle any success, any fame. I mean, that's history. Woman or guy gets a little bit of attention, doesn't know how to handle it, loses their mind. Who hasn't seen that movie before? Here's Belichick sidestepping the question of Jordan Hudson at the ACC spring meetings.
So I know that you're aware that your relationship with Jordan Hudson has been a headline over the last few months. And all of the specifics aside, because a lot has come out in the last couple of days, how do you think that impacts your ability to coach this football team, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's, really off to the side. It's a personal relationship, and she doesn't have anything to do with UNC football. I'm excited to be back in the coaches' meetings and getting ready for, June, and then August when we get to training camp. So June will be a big recruiting month for us, and then August we'll start to get ready for the season. And
I know that you're not on social media and you don't read as much as everybody else has seen, but when it comes to having conversations with your players, have you been able to talk about any of those things and the specifics of what's going on off the field?
Yeah, no, I talk to the players, and when we meet with them, when they come in to visit and so forth, sure.
And how have those conversations gone?
Yeah, great. Well, again, we want to make the players the best that they can be, provide them the best opportunity on and off the field, and that's what we're about at UNC, and that's what we do the best for every single player we have.
Okay.
And how have those conversations gone? They've gone really shitty, lady. Yeah, I mean, haven't you noticed that our entire team quit? Or, hey, lady, well, I'm kind of learning that the guys want to kind of shtup her because, she's hot. Well, how have those conversations gone? What an idiotic line of question. Hey, have you talked to your players about shtupping the young girl and all the reports? Yeah, we talked to them. Okay. How have those conversations gone? You could tell that she thought she was going to get something out of it. People are idiots that are reporters. How have those? Hey, lady, they're going terrible. Oh, I'm glad you asked. God dang. I had a lineman come in the other day, and he was so graphic. He didn't want to come. His mom was like, I can't have you here because, well, you're stooping a young girl. Oh, shut up. Man, oh, man. Hey, you enjoying the show so far? Of course you are. I got a hoarse voice, but you know what? It's all right. By the way, a horse walked into the bar. The other one ducked. Make sure you head over to youtube.com/@OutKick/videos to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our content. This was interesting. The DEI program of the NFL got crushed by the NFL. The league confirmed it's been paused. It has paused the accelerated program that it's used for 2 years to help increase diversity levels in key coaching areas. Another win for merit-based hires and common sense in America. I also think this, though. I believe this. I think the NFL has done a really good job of improving what was a bad situation. White owners, white coaches were hiring white coaches. And I do think, regardless of whether this stays or not, the NFL has moved past all that garbage. Not the garbage. They've moved past this, being mandated to do it. That's the garbage with which I'm referring to. No, the NFL hires people. The NFL hires good people. The NFL hires people that I believe, if you seem to relate. And here's why I say that. I sat for a number of years and actually do it pretty much twice a year now, right behind the visitors' bench, 6 rows up at Colts game. And NFL coaches of all colors work their ass off. And there's a lot of black former players and black college coaches in the NFL that work their ass off. The DEI hiring practices of the NFL has worked. Now, people are always going to want more. I get that. They're always going to want more black head coaches. Fine. But I will tell you this. I think by releasing this, the NFL is pretty much saying it's done its job. Not that we're going to comply with the president or anything like that. I think the NFL literally believes, and all you got to do is look on the sideline, that this has done its job. And everybody now, regardless of, how dumb you may have been in the past, is comfortable hiring whoever is the best person for the job. We have decided to hold the next iteration of the accelerator in May 2026. This will allow us to reimagine the program, reflecting on the feedback and engaging with stakeholders so we can ensure a successful program in the future. We're steadfast in our commitment to strengthen our talent pipeline and create an environment that reflects the diversity of our fan base. Well, if you're really going to do that, I think the African-American crowd is only 13%. You better get some more white people in there. No? The NFL strives to be a unified force. Yeah. We're confident the next evolution of our efforts take us one step closer to that goal. No, I really believe they do a great job with it. Yeah, I know there's going to be studies that say I'm wrong. Well, you do you. The decision came 4 months after President Donald Trump signed an executive order that threatened federal action against organizations whose diversity, equity, and inclusion programs violated the government's interpretation of civil rights law. No, I mean, I'm sure that's a part of it, but if you're paying attention, and I am, because I had a couple of friends way back, couldn't get a job in the NFL, frankly, because they were black. That was a long time ago. It's 20-some, maybe 30, 30-some years now. And now I look, and I have, and I think the NFL does a wonderful job. I get it. There are still going to be people that are going to complain about it. That's fine. There are still people that are going to disagree with it. That's fine. The president certainly did what the president did. That's great. And maybe this is a reaction. But having said that, I think the NFL did a hell of a job, has done a hell of a job. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Twitter gets you in trouble. The owner of the NHL Florida Panthers, Doug Sifu, has been suspended and banned from having any involvement with the team after he reportedly posted a series of highly offensive social media posts. Now he's being summoned for a face-to-face with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. Let's read this and tell me whether you agree or disagree that a guy that's an owner of an NHL, a major franchise, a franchise that has won the Stanley Cup, should be banned for these posts. I'm going to bring Davey in here in a minute. The offending messages were from a back and forth with a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Panthers' current playoff opponent. So this is some shit talking between, owner and a fan. It veered into statements about the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, as well as a reference to Canada becoming the 51st state. President Donald Trump said in recent months that he wants to see Canada added to the United States as the 51st state. Here's the exchange. Hey, what's worse, using headshots to win a series or using starvation as a weapon to win a war? I don't know where that headshot thing, but that's all right. Actually, the owner said, being a whiny dope anti-Semite is clearly worse, loser. Fan. Not approving of using starvation as a weapon makes me a bigot. Got it. I love the got it. Get some sleep, man. Market opens early tomorrow. Best of luck front-running Robin Hood traders, you MAGA blank liquor. Well, that's not nice. Eat shit, 51st state anti-Semite loser. Israel now and forever until every last Hamas rat is eliminated. I don't know. I mean, if this man's Jewish, what's the problem? I'm sure I messed up on a problem here, and I'm sure I can be canceled for not understanding the problem. Before I move it along, Davey, what do you see as the problem? Not the NHL's problem. What do you see as the problem between this exchange?
It's funny you asked, Dan. As far as the problem, it just seems like the NHL just wants their owners to stay out of any conflict whatsoever. Since when did it become so bad to want all terrorists to be eliminated? I mean, I don't know what the issue is there. Like we understand it. It's not a situation where he said Palestinians. He clearly said Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They've had so many crimes and atrocities that you can't even list them unless we were to take the next several days to just go through every single thing that they did. I'm surprised the NHL actually came down on this, unless it's maybe the 51st state comment, which Donald Trump's been going at with Canada and Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, but aren't we allowed? I mean, look. I mean, that's just being said in jest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a shot. I would argue that the first thing you said is probably right. Well, here it is. The NHL has concluded that Mr. Sifu's ex-posts were unacceptable and inappropriate. As a result, Mr. Sifu has been suspended indefinitely from any involvement with the club and the NHL. An in-person meeting will be scheduled with Mr. Sifu and the commissioner at a date to be determined. I don't know, man. I don't know, Davey. I mean, I don't care if I own an NHL team or I don't care if I own or I'm wearing a dopey Pacers shirt in the morning. You should be able to condemn terrorists. And if the 51st state thing bothers you, call them up, say, hey, man, don't do that. But I don't see where there's anything here that should force a guy to, I don't know, go to the extremes Donald Sterling had. I mean, that dude got, lost his franchise. I would imagine that's the next thing on this. This seems ridiculous to me, no?
Yeah, no, it does seem ridiculous. The only thing I can think of that might be an issue is if there had been repeated problems in the past with this owner, as far as the NHL's given him so many times to be like, hey man, you got to cut it out as far as it relates to these comments, and then he just kept on going. But still, I don't see any problem with what he said in the post that are at least tied to this story.
Yep, I agree. I wanted to make sure I was right about that. The woke mind virus claims another victim. Sources within ESPN have confirmed to OutKick that the higher-ups at ESPN grew frustrated with the show Around the Horn's casting, commentary, and controversies. You don't say. Really, you don't say. Put a bunch of people up there that never played a sport, that are far left-leaning, that are unattractive the moment they start talking, Here's a bit of the panelists. Here's a list of the panelists that Tony Reale and executive producer Eric Reinhold have since chosen to elevate. Jamal Hill, Bomani Jones, Sarah Spain, L. Duncan, David Dennis Jr. David Dennis Jr. is the funniest one. My daddy was a civil rights leader. Give me a job. Oh, okay. Mina Kimes, J.A. Adonde, Michael Smith, Kate Fagan. Some of the show's recent headlines include Adonde comparing red state voting laws. Listen to this. Red state voting laws to genocide in China. Sarah Spain calling religion bullshit. David Dennis excusing black women for purposely hard-filing Caitlin Clark. And Mina Kimes criticizing the Trump administration with inaccurate information. Well, it's one thing to be bad at your job. It's another thing to just, irritate half of your audience. The show, they're going to tell you, is about voices that wouldn't normally be heard. Right. Voices that shouldn't normally be heard, and I'm for everyone talking. It's one of those deals. The more you listen to a Sarah Spain, the more you listen to a J.A. Adonde, the more you listen to these guys, the worse they sound. Horrible people. Horrible. Haven't done anything. Adonde actually is a professor at Northwestern, and he's the one that compared voting laws to genocide. Imagine that. Voting laws to genocide. Okay. All right. A little over the top. I don't care whether the show stays or goes. I watched it way back when Woody Page made me laugh. But now, see you. Liberals tell us this isn't happening. Really? All right. What isn't happening? Women having to compete against men in sports. They tell us this isn't happening. All right, well, one South Dakota father is absolutely fed up and calling out the presence of a transgender male on a women's softball team after the biological male, Marissa Roethlisberger, helped the team win 14 straight games and was named first team All-State, the only underclassman in the 4A division to earn that honor. This season, Roethlisberger was 6-1, 67 strikeouts, 0.76 ERA, 46 inning pitched. Think there's any time soon this madness is going to end? I don't know. You're talking about someone with exceptional size and strength. 43 feet from mound to plate is not that far away. The reaction times, a ball off the bat of a 17-year-old male versus 17-year-old female, it's just different. The safety of the kids on the other side from a legal standpoint needs to be respected. Everyone is so worried about getting sued by these left-wing woke groups. Well, what about the people on the other side of the coin that just want their girls in a safe environment? That's hard to argue. Look, I played in a softball league with guys and girls, and come on, let's be honest. Even girls that played in college couldn't catch up to some fat-ass dude throwing. There should be no disguise. If there's a boy on the other team should know that from a safety standpoint and just for open, transparent dialogue. Don't be hiding players, presenting them as girls when they're boys. Nobody ever thought it would hit this close to home. You hear about this stuff in Connecticut and Oregon and with Riley Gaines in swimming, and you think, that's far away. But when we found out, it hit us right at home. Everybody was shocked, and you should be shocked. I don't know when this madness is going to end. In fact, I know that liberals tell me it's not even started. All I did was see a bunch of athletes, men athletes, male athletes, playing against women in track and field over the weekend. All I saw was this Roethlisberger dude mowing people down. It wasn't great. But that's what she did, and I don't blame dads for being pissed. I don't blame dads. I don't blame anybody. I blame the system that we're in. Why would anybody be afraid of being sued by these idiots? Hell, sue away. Sue away. Cares. See what happens. Pete Rose to the Hall of Fame. Major League Baseball? Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred has removed Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson from Major League Baseball's permanent ineligible list, making them and clearing a pathway for consideration to the Hall of Fame. How about that? There are a lot of people that feel like Pete Rose, even with this clearance, even being taken off of this list, still will not make the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, what I will tell you is very simple. What I will tell you is suck it, all of you. Put Rose in the museum. Here's what Tony Kornheiser said. Rob Manfred does not put you in the Hall of Fame. The baseball writers put you in the Hall of Fame. They are guardians of the game. They take violations very seriously. You know, it is going to be interesting. I think if you went to public sentiment, it would be 97% in. I think it would. In fact, I'm not sure. I think Clay Travis did a poll where 97, it was 97, that 97% of the people involved wanted Rose in the Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Good for him, man. I hope he's in. I know he's dead. Hey, Davey, give me your take. First question, will Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? And then tell me what you think about this.
Dan, I think 2028's when he and Shoeless Joe Jackson and the other people would be on the ballot. I think he will ultimately get in. I think it might take a little bit of time. You know, you look at some of the guys that use steroids that are not banned from the list, but there's like the writers have not put them in. As it relates to my take, Dan, I view the guy as a Hall of Famer, but I don't like the idea that it's like now that somebody's died, we're going to completely change how we view a situation. It's like if it wasn't good enough when he was alive, what makes it different now? Now, the one argument against that, and I think it's kind of, you know, clever in how people are discussing this, but it's Pete Rose had a lifetime ban. Well, Pete's lifetime, unfortunately, great guy, it's over. And then I'll ask you this question just to tie this into pop culture. Did you ever watch the series Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Essentially, you know, Jon Snow, spoiler alert, when Jon Snow, there's the mutiny, he dies, but he comes back. His watch has ended with the Night Watch. He is no longer obligated for that oath. And so I feel like that's kind of how they're approaching this situation, which I think is kind of funny. But Pete, man, he absolutely
character. No, I get it. It's one of those deals where Pete Rose is now dead. So the lifetime ban, boom. It is interesting, though, you know, and people have said this, with the money that is being made by baseball, football, basketball on gambling and gambling advertising, you can't open up gambling. You can't. You just can't. And there's a big sign in every NFL locker room and every NBA locker room that I've been in, every Major League Baseball clubhouse that I've been in, it basically spells out, don't bet on it.
Yeah. And
it gives you all the punishment. But he is dead. That lifetime ban has ended. People are mad about him now. Shame on you, baseball, for putting Pete Rose in after he's dead. Well, Davey, to your point, that ends the lifetime ban. The ban's over. He ain't live.
When do you think the writers will put him in, Dan? You think as soon as he's on the ballot, first ballot, he gets in? No, because I think they're such douchebags that they will make this difficult, if that's the right word. I think they will make it. I think they'll make it difficult. I do. I think it'll be. I think he will get in. I just think it won't be, the next time. Hey, I did want to get into this. Super fan turned super effed. Chief Superfan, Chiefsaholic, has been slapped with another lengthy prison sentence on top of the 17 years he already got nailed with
for his role in 11 different bank robberies across the country. He just said, I'm going to go steal some money from peoples. The fan, 30-year-old Xavier Badadar, is already serving his more than 17-year sentence in federal prison as it relates to a string of 11 bank robberies across 17 different states on Monday. His stint in the clink was considerably lengthened when he received a 32-year sentence in state prison for the robbery of the teachers' credit union. Here's my man's robbery history: $70,000 from a Clive, Iowa bank, $139,000 from a Tulsa, Oklahoma teachers' credit union, $170,860 from Omaha Bank. Wow, this is a good score. $303,845 from a Nashville, Tennessee credit union, $250,000 from another Clive, Indiana bank, $1,400. What are you doing? From a Sparks, Nevada bank, $950 from a bank in El Dorado, California. I always told my kids, if you're going to rob a bank, don't do it for $10. Do it for $300,000. I mean, $300,000 anymore ain't that much, but you're not going to get taxed on it. Badadar's attorney, J. Michael Schwab, stated that the robberies were the result of a gambling addiction as well as a way for the Chiefs fans to finance his social media stardom. All right. Good. That's awesome. Right, man. You gotta fund your social media stardom for whatever the reason. Bullshit. Dude's a thief, probably had a gambling addiction. Dan, have you ever thought about robbing banks to fuel your gambling and sports media stardom? I have. Full disclosure, my grandfather, way back when, we were sitting by train tracks at a restaurant, sitting outside. I think he was having a smoke. And he taught me and a couple of my cousins how to jump a freight car, meaning you run along with it and you jump in an empty freight car. And it takes you wherever. So I always thought about robbing a bank. I did. And then jumping in an empty freight car. So if you ever hear about a bank robbery by the railroad tracks, I'm going to be very easy to find. Because if the train tracks are going that way, probably getting off at the next stop. Train tracks are going that way, probably getting off at the next stop. So yeah, in answer to your question, I did. I really did. Thought about it. Glad I haven't done it. Barnacle on Caitlin Clark's ass, also known as Angel Reese, shut down a reporter and refused to answer his question when asked if she believes or he believes people are watching the WNBA, not just because of Caitlin Clark, because of herself. What? Jeep. Jealousy, envy, something, and something. Here's Caitlin Clark, or Angel Reese.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next
getting
question. Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
Oh,
move
wow.
on to Zoom. ESPN.
Next question.
Please unmute.
Wow, we're going next question. These little girls are powerful. Why is that such a bad question? You're the one that says it, lady. I mean, you're the one that yaps. You're the one that says all this racist, ridiculous stuff. And frankly, what next question? Like, you're some Gaza lady. If it weren't for Caitlin Clark, you would have nothing. Nothing, zero, zip, nada. What are you talking about? Next question. Man, why don't women come up with their own stuff in the media? You know, if you watch women's basketball, they act like dudes. Don't act like dudes. Do your own stuff. Get your own celebration. Get your own next question. I don't know. Davey, here's my next question. Do you think even a little bit, that the WNBA, not Caitlin Clark, the games outside of WNBA or Caitlin Clark's games are going to surge in ratings? Or do you think now, after a year of Caitlin Clark, the non-Caitlin Clark games are going to flatten out?
Dan, I'll go ahead and say it. I think you're actually going to see a decline in the ratings across the board this upcoming season. You look at it, I mean, Caitlin's still going to be able to get the numbers that she had, but I think whenever you look at the entirety of the league, you are going to see everything start to kind of come down, just because I don't think the league's growing like the numbers are suggesting. I think when you look at the situation, people are getting more frustrated with it. And also you look at ESPN, whenever ESPN Plus is losing those subscribers, it just seems like the numbers aren't going to be in their favor moving forward.
Yeah, I'm wondering because I look at the WNBA and I say we all know Caitlin Clark. Everybody wants to know Paige Beckers. They want to. But I'm not so sure Paige Beckers drives the bus. And I'm thinking that most people, you know what? Most people damn near know only Caitlin Clark, truly. And most people are tired of Angel Reese. I believe that. I think most people are very tired of Angel Reese. I think maybe in Chicago she's a big deal. Maybe, they're moving it to the United Center.
If they want the numbers to be great, like the Indiana Fever have to have an incredible season.
I agree, and I think they will. They got two hot girls, and I know we're not supposed to say that, but Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall are very pretty women, and they're already out there in the public. Sophie Cunningham already has a couple national commercials, and I'm very, very interested in how this goes because the Fever are going to be very good. Cunningham is going to be the next breakout star. She's an Instagram person. She's going to be all over it. And the rest of the league is going to get in their wake and hopefully get drug along pretty well. I don't know. I really don't. But that's the way I'm looking at it. No, it is. Anyway, we'll see. When the hell does the league start? Do you know?
They've got games going on now, regular season, I'm pretty sure.
No, they don't. Or
the preseason's still going on.
Yeah, no, I don't care about that. When does a regular season game,
Looks like the first game is Friday. Yeah, Friday. You've got the Dream and the Mystics, the Lynx and the Wings, and the Sparks and the Valkyries.
All right. I was going to say, if Caitlin Clark's team's already playing, it's a celebration. Hey, last thing before we go to break and get Mike Mayock, Pacers down 19. Next thing you know, second quarter, next thing you know, they ain't messing around. Tyrese Halliburton, how good was he in the second, getting him back in, and then through the game. Suck it, people. He stands on business. You know what I mean? Be right back.